You guys, there's a, I don't know if you know this, but they just released the first official full trailer for the new upcoming Joker movie, and I just need to talk about it. I have some thoughts. I've watched it many times now. I know I'm a few days late on this too, reacting to this. It came out last week, and you know, it's better late than never. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, maybe go watch it before I talk about it, or watch it after. I mean, not really spoilers because it's just a trailer. I have a lot of thoughts, and I just need to share them and put them out there. If you haven't seen it, go watch it after. I'm gonna tell you everything that happens, but you still need to watch it because it's so good. Okay, so the trailer starts out with Arthur Fleck, the main character, sitting in an office with what looks like a therapist, which I also assume because the first thing we hear her say is, "Arthur, does it help having someone to talk to?" One of the next shots we see, Arthur is bathing or helping bathe this like older woman in a bathtub, but we get the clue that that's his mother because right before we see that shot and kind of during that shot, we overhear in the audio him saying, "My mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face." Then after that, we see him on the sidewalk somewhere working as a sign spinner. He's holding this big sign that says like, "Everything must go." He's dressed up like a clown. He has like a clown wig on, this full getup, and then a whole bunch of hooligans come up and steal his sign, and he chases them into an alley, and then they break the sign over him, and then he's laying on the ground, so you assume that these guys kind of just like beat him up. And then it just shows this cut scene of him laying on the ground, possibly crying. It's kind of hard to tell, but he's in distress. Then we get a shot of him. It looks like he's dancing in the living room with his mom again. So now we're really getting the idea that he most likely has a really close relationship with his mom, which, just knowing that this movie is going to be the story of how Arthur is dealing with his like inner struggles and tragedy and eventually loses his mind. So I obviously don't know for sure. This does make me wonder if they're showing he has this great relationship with his mom and he's really close to her. Maybe something's gonna happen to his mom in the movie that, you know, adds to the progression of his madness. That was just one of the thoughts I had while I was watching. So the next scene, we see him sitting in a diner with a young girl. They're smiling at each other, clearly having like a good time, possibly on a date. Kind of get him an idea, maybe this is like a love interest for him. If you haven't read any like articles before seeing this trailer or really know that much about the movie, even just by looking up on IMDb, this character is Sophia Dumond or Sophie Dumond. I know that this is a character in the DC universe. I don't know exactly who she is. I just know that she's important because it was like kind of a big deal like when they casted her character. But yeah, that's who that is. There's gonna be something significant about their relationship for sure. After that, we see him walking across the street into Arkham State Hospital. Then it appears that he is going into like mental ward or psychiatric ward. See him in an elevator with these two like medical staff with this guy on a gurney who's just like flailing and going crazy. So clearly like that patient has some issues. I'm making a lot of assumptions, but basically to me it looks like maybe he was like checking himself into the mental ward or voluntarily going there for some reason, which also I do think that in that scene, the very first scene of the trailer where he's talking to that woman in some office, she has like the name tag on, just based off of it could be in a hospital and just seeing like the outfit he's wearing, it's like the same outfit as those scenes. So maybe he like goes there to talk to a counselor or something. The next short scene, we see him sitting in a comedy club and he starts laughing, kind of a weird laugh. The character Arthur Fleck from the Killing Joke storyline is a failed comedian. So this makes me curious if they're going to be taking that route in this storyline as well. There is a short cut scene later in the trailer where it looks like he is on stage at the comedy club. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Then it cuts to him sitting in a mirror in what looks like a dressing room, putting on his clown makeup. You see him like pulling his like mouth up, like forcing himself to smile, and then he like pulls his hands out really fast and you get this like quick glimpse at him just like being very like emotionally distraught or like really upset. Just the whole trailer slowly like feeding into him trying to force himself to be happy, but clearly he is very disturbed and I guess for lack of better words, disturbed and emotionally distraught. Then following that scene, we see him sitting on a subway that's mostly empty. There's like 4 or 5 other like businessmen down the cart from him. He's sitting on the seat and it's like full clown makeup again with the wig and everything, and he's just like laughing hysterically by himself. One of the guys comes up to him and goes, "Hey man, what's so funny?" And then they beat him up just because they're jerks apparently. They call him a freak, and then you hear this really short audio clip of another hysterical laughing, which sounds more like what the laugh might be for like the complete Joker, like, what's the word? I should have put my thoughts together a little better before this because my vocabulary is failing right now. I guess for lack of better words,
disturbed and emotionally distraught.
We hear this short clip of a hysterical laugh, which sounds more like what the like finalized Joker would laugh, or how that would laugh. You know what I'm saying. Okay, then right after that, you see him kind of like slowly like dancing around in what looks like a police investigation room. While he's like looking in that like 2-way mirror, we hear some audio that says Gotham's lost its way. And we see this short clip of him falling downstairs outside of what looks like this big like fancy gala or some kind of fancy event. Almost looks like he's being like kicked out of it or something like that. Then it cuts to this like short clip of him holding a revolver, and we hear another audio clip that says, "What kind of coward would do something so cold-blooded?" We see him dancing around his living room, shirtless, with his revolver while he's like watching the news. Next, we see a short scene of that riot scene in the subway where there's a lot of other people wearing clown masks, and he is in his full Joker like suit and the makeup at that point. So the next scene, we see him with this like no makeup on but a red clown nose, walking like behind his hedge, kind of looking over it and like smiling. Walks up to some gate, and there's this little boy on the other side of the gate like kneeling down, and he's like reaching up and like making him smile, like pushing up his mouth to smile. But my theory is that that little boy is Bruce Wayne. Now the reason I think that is because Thomas Wayne is going to be in this movie. Obviously, Thomas Wayne being alive means Bruce Wayne is a child. So I don't think that there is going to be a Batman in this movie. Another thing to think about is if that is true, that wouldn't necessarily work, because in this movie Arthur is like middle-aged, and if Bruce Wayne is a kid, that means that when he grows up and becomes Batman, there's no way that this guy could be that Joker. I obviously don't know this for sure, and if that were the case, then that would mean that this character is just gonna be in this movie, because I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. That's my theory. And that's one thing I would love to talk about with other people. If you think that's Bruce Wayne too, like, what could that mean for like future storylines? Is this guy somehow the inspiration for the future Joker, or is he actually the Joker? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I could go on about that for a while because obviously that theory has to get kind of deep. Okay, so after this scene, the music picks up and it's getting more dramatic, and we see a few short scenes. Looks like he's standing up on the stage at the comedy club. Then there's this really short clip of him dancing in the bathroom in his tidy whities. Then it cuts to him smashing his head on a mirror in his like clown wig and clown makeup. Then we see him walking out like behind curtains into a spotlight on a bigger stage wearing like the Joker suit and Joker makeup. Then it cuts to a short scene where he's like dyeing his hair green in the bathroom. You see like light green liquid like dripping down his head, and his hair is all wet. So that's like the Joker green hair. And then the last few scenes, he's in that maroon new Joker suit, the Joker makeup. He's walking down a hallway in what looks like maybe an apartment building. He's holding some flowers, and then the very last little scene they show is he's standing in an elevator, kind of like looking down. It looks kind of ominous, and the elevator doors close on him. So that is the whole trailer. Every time I watch this trailer, I get chills. I mean, there's a few reasons for that. One is I'm just very excited about this movie. Honestly, since they announced that Joaquin Phoenix is going to be playing the Joker, he's played a lot of like really serious roles before and actually a lot of other like kind of complex characters. So if anyone else was to take on the Joker and put a new spin on it, I was like, I think this would be a good guy to do it. So I was excited about that, but I've just all the buildup that's been happening, and after seeing this trailer and getting a better idea of the storyline that they'll be going with, and just getting a visual and overall feel for, I guess, the direction they're going with it and the cinematography and everything. Another thing is the music in this trailer is so good. It's that song, I think it's just called Smile by Nat King Cole, Casually Throughout. There's something about a kind of like romantic, kind of lightish song playing over like dark dramatic scenes. It just kind of elicits a certain type of emotion. But that song too is kind of, it's not meant to be dark, but it kind of is a little. Some of the lyrics that we hear in the trailer are smile though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking. And then some of the last lyrics in the song, smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. And they're kind of playing off those lyrics and like that quote he said that my mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face. We're hearing those quotes and those lyrics, and then you see him being like beat up by a bunch of different people just because he seems weird and like a freak. He's just obviously not happy and is trying to force himself to smile, and eventually these things lend to him going mad and losing his mind. Another thing I noticed and kind of reacted on was the Joker that I have known in all the comics and other movies is, yes, he's mad and he's crazy and he's just evil and chaotic. But in this trailer, you kind of see the human side of him, and I felt bad for him. Like, you see him laying in the alley after these guys just beat him up. See him laying on the subway, these guys called him a freak and beat him up, and you like kind of feel bad for him even though you know he's going to become the Joker. I don't know if anyone else felt this or if it's just me having very deep feelings for the world of Batman and the Joker, but I just felt so many different emotions in this trailer, and yeah, I just get chills every time. But if you felt any of the same things or have some different thoughts, please leave a comment below or my Facebook page or somewhere. I would love to talk to you all about it more, or just share thoughts or something. Yeah, and now we have to wait all the way until October for the movie, so that's gonna be fun. Thank you for watching. If you made it through this whole thing, and like I mentioned before, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, even though I described all this to you, you really need to just watch it yourself. I hope you guys are excited for the movie as I am. Feel free to follow me on all social media at its_justcaitlin, or on Facebook is It's Just Caitlin. I don't really know what else to say. And on that note, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!